Good morning, beloved friend. The world is still quiet. The light has not fully broken through the horizon. The air feels softer, and for just a moment, time seems to pause. There is something sacred about this hour before the day begins. While most of the world still sleeps, your soul stirs, perhaps not out of peace, but because something deeper is reaching for breath. If you are awake right now, it is not by accident. There is an invitation waiting for you in the silence of this early morning. An invitation not just to listen, but to be known. Somewhere, perhaps not far from where you are, there is a man sitting at the edge of his bed. His hands are resting in his lap, but his heart feels heavy. The night before brought little sleep. He carries the weight of unpaid bills, unanswered questions, and the slow ache of a marriage slipping further apart. He has prayed before, but lately, the words have felt hollow, and hope feels like something reserved for someone else. This morning, though, something nudged him softly, persistently. He did not hear a voice, but he felt something deeper than thought. So he got up, not because he knew what to say, but because he did not want to keep drowning in silence. And now, in the dim light of dawn, with nothing but quiet around him, he whispers a single thought. God, if you are near, I need you to meet me here. Perhaps his story feels familiar. Maybe not the details, but the feeling, the sense that you are doing all you can just to hold yourself together, while life seems to be coming apart. The pressure to appear strong while your heart is exhausted. The burden of carrying more questions than answers. If that is where you are this morning, you are not alone, and you are not forgotten. There is something powerful about the early hours of the day, not because the circumstances around us change, but because something within us becomes more honest. The distractions fade, the noise quiets, and for a few rare moments, we can hear the voice we have been longing to hear all along. This is the time when your soul can rise before the demands of the world do, when you can bring every unspoken fear, every hidden ache, every tangled thought into the presence of the one who already sees it all. Prayer is not about having perfect words. It is not about performance or eloquence. Prayer is about access. It is about choosing to come close when everything in you wants to pull away. It is about letting your guard down long enough to realize that the God who created you is not looking for perfection. He is looking for permission to meet you right where you are, as you are. Today, I want to invite you to take a deep breath and open your heart, not just to pray, but to listen, not just to speak, but to be still. There is a path ahead that is not paved by pressure or performance. It is carved out by presence, by choosing to begin your day, not with the weight of worry, but with the whisper of faith. Faith that says, even now, even here, I believe God still hears me. I believe breakthrough is still possible. I believe peace can still come. And I believe this morning can mark the beginning of something deeper. So let us begin this sacred journey, not rushed, not forced, just real. This is your time. Let the stillness speak. Let your soul breathe, and let heaven draw near. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you in this quiet hour with no strength left to pretend. My heart feels heavy, my thoughts are restless, and I am aware of how tired I truly am. I do not come with polished words or clear understanding. I come because I am awake, and something within me knows I cannot carry this day alone. I feel the weight of worries that followed me through the night, the questions that never found answers, and the fear that whispers before the light fully rises. I bring them to you as they are, unfiltered and unfinished. Father, I confess that I am worn down in ways I do not always know how to explain. There are moments when I feel strong on the outside, while quietly unraveling within. There are pressures I carry silently, responsibilities that feel heavier than my capacity, and expectations that leave me afraid of failing. I acknowledge these feelings before you without shame. I am not here to impress you. I am here because I need you to see me fully, even in this fragile state. This morning, I do not ask for quick solutions or easy answers. I ask first to be held by your presence. I ask for you to meet me in this stillness, where my defenses are lowered and my heart is exposed. If I have lost clarity, restore it gently. If I have lost hope, awaken it quietly. If my faith feels small, do not reject it. Receive it as it is and breathe life into it. Father, I recognize that much of my struggle is unseen by others. The inner battles, the anxious thoughts, the memories that surface when everything is quiet. I place them before you now. I am tired of carrying them alone. I release the need to understand everything, and instead choose to trust that you understand me completely. You know the places where fear has settled, and the moments where discouragement has tried to convince me that nothing will change. As this day begins, I admit that I am unsure of myself, but I am choosing to come anyway. I choose to speak to you before the noise of the world speaks to me. I choose to open my heart instead of closing it off in self-protection. Even in my uncertainty, I believe that you are near, attentive, and present in this moment. I believe that you hear the words I cannot find and the emotions I cannot name. Father, if there is any part of me that feels forgotten, remind me that I am seen. If there is any part of me that feels weak, remind me that I am not alone. I offer you this morning honestly, without masks or rehearsed faith. I place myself before you as I am, trusting that you are gentle with fragile hearts and patient with weary souls. Father, I am still here, still quiet in this early hour. My body remains still, but something inside me is beginning to move. I do not feel whole yet. I do not feel strong, but I feel the first stirring of honesty waking up in me. I no longer want to hide behind silence. I no longer want to pretend that I am fine. There is too much inside that needs to be said. Too much I have kept buried because I thought you were waiting for the right words. But maybe you were just waiting for the real ones. So I bring you what I have, raw and unrehearsed. I bring you the ache of disappointment that has sat too long in my chest. I bring you the anger I have swallowed to protect others. I bring you the fear that creeps in late at night and never fully leaves when the sun rises. I bring you the questions that do not yet have answers, and the prayers that feel like they disappeared into the ceiling. I bring you the ache of waiting for something I can't name, hoping for something I can't force. I am tired of carrying it all, like I have to earn the right to be comforted. I am tired of editing my soul before I speak to you. So here I am, as I am. Every ache, every question, every contradiction.
And
I do not need to understand everything to be held. I do not need to see the outcome to cry out in this moment. I just need to believe you are listening. Even if I do not feel it, even if nothing has changed yet, I want you to know what it is like to be me right now, not the version I show the world. There are things I have lost that still grieve me. There are people I miss who will not return. There are opportunities I watched slip through my fingers, and nights I wish I could rewrite. There are memories I try not to visit because they still burn in places no one else sees. I offer them to you without cleanup or conclusion. I do not want to hide anymore. I want you to see the real me and stay. There are days when faith feels thin, when all I can do is whisper your name. There are mornings when getting out of bed feels like a mountain. I have stood in rooms full of people and felt invisible. I have smiled through pain so others would not worry. I have clung to hope while part of me was sure it would not hold. I tell you this not for pity, but for presence. Because if I can't be real with you, then where can I be real at all? I believe that you do not require polished prayers. I believe you are not offended by my ache or tired of my tears. You are not keeping score of how many times I have doubted or how slowly I have healed. You are not surprised by my struggle or distant from my questions. I believe you are moved by truth, even when it trembles. I believe you draw near not when I get it all right, but when I stop pretending I already have. So here in this sacred quiet, I open myself to you. If all I can give you this morning is my ache, then I give it fully. If all I can offer is my weariness, then I offer it without apology. If my cry is my only prayer, then let it be enough. I do not ask you to rush the answers. I ask you to sit with me in the not knowing. I ask you to hold space for the mess without needing to fix it right away. I want to trust you here, not only when I feel strong or sure. I want to let you into the places I have locked away, not because I need immediate change, but because I need immediate presence. I need to know you are not just the God of mountaintops, but the God of the mudded middle, the God who walks with me when I have no idea where the path leads. So I cry out, not in weakness, but in trust, because crying is not the absence of faith. It is often its beginning. I believe there is something sacred about surrendering when I have nothing left to hold on to. I believe this moment matters, not because it is loud or dramatic, but because it is true. You are not looking for perfection in my voice, only permission to enter the room. Let this be that room. Let this be the hour where you meet me, not because I prayed perfectly, but because I finally stopped trying to pray impressively. I do not need you to perform. I need you to be with me. That is all. And maybe that is everything. Lord, you have not left. I feel that now. You have not rushed past my questions or waited for me to fix myself before coming close. You have stayed. Even as I emptied my heart in pieces and tears, you remained steady, present, unshaken. And now, as the light begins to press gently against the edges of this quiet room, I feel something I have not felt in a long time: stillness that is not lonely, quiet that is not empty. It feels like you have carved out a place just for me here in this silence. I do not know when the shift happened. It did not arrive like thunder or flashing signs, but the weight that clung to me when I first woke has begun to loosen. There is no explanation in my mind, no solution to point to, but my breath is deeper, and my chest does not feel so tight. Something in me is settling, Not because the pain is gone or the questions are answered, but because I no longer feel like I am carrying it alone. This stillness is not absence. It is safety. It is shelter. I have spent so much of my life running from the quiet, afraid of what it would reveal. I filled the spaces between tasks with noise, conversation, distraction, anything to keep from facing what I could not fix. But here, in the stillness where you meet me, I am learning that silence does not have to be a threat. It can be an invitation to rest my soul against yours, to stop bracing for impact and begin trusting that I am covered. There is no pressure in your presence, no rush, no scoreboard, no proving ground. You do not ask me to perform. You ask me to remain, and in remaining, something in me finds peace I did not expect. The kind of peace that does not erase the hard things, but makes them bearable. The kind of peace that whispers, I am not alone, that I have never been alone. You are not standing outside of my chaos. You are not a distant observer, waiting to be impressed. You are here, settled in the middle of it all, not solving everything at once, but softening the edges of my fear. You are not shouting over my thoughts. You are stilling them, and in that stillness, I can finally hear what anxiety always tried to drown out, that I am safe. Not because life is easy, but because you are near. I do not need to figure everything out right now. I do not need a plan for the next 5 steps. Right now, all I need is the assurance that I am held. And I feel that here, in this moment, in this holy quiet. I feel your presence wrapping around me like a warm covering in the cold. I feel the noise of expectation beginning to fade. I feel the inner tightening of fear start to unwind. There is a soft strength rising in me, not loud, not dramatic, but real. A strength that comes not from striving, but from surrender. Not from control, but from trust. It tells me I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to slow down. I am allowed to stop proving and just be. I do not need to do more to be more. I am not defined by what I accomplish today. I am defined by who I belong to. Let this stillness stretch further into me. Let it reach the parts of me that never learned how to rest. The parts that have lived braced for disappointment, constantly scanning for something to fix. Let those places learn the sound of peace. Let them hear the hush of your voice reminding me that I am safe to stay still, that I am allowed to be carried for a while. God, I want to carry this stillness with me. I do not want it to end when I rise from this moment. I want it to become the rhythm beneath everything I do. Let it follow me into my decisions. Let it guide me through unexpected interruptions. Let it speak louder than the voices of urgency and fear. Let it be the foundation I return to, again and again, throughout the day, even if the world begins to pull at me again. I know this stillness now. I have tasted it. I know what it feels like to be fully known and not rushed, fully seen and still covered. You are not only the God of the high places. You are the God of the quiet middle. The God who meets me, not when I climb higher, but when I finally sit still long enough to be found. I realize now that strength is not always loud. Peace is not always visible. Sometimes the most powerful change is invisible. The moment when fear loosens its grip and I no longer have to live on edge. The moment when I stop running from the quiet and begin dwelling in it with you. Let this be that moment. Let this be the beginning of a different kind of strength, one that is rooted, not reactive, one that is anchored, not anxious. I do not need the world to pause for me to be at peace. I only need to remain in you. Teach me how to return to this space, even when I am surrounded by chaos. Teach me how to quiet my inner world, even when my outer world spins fast. Teach me how to stay close to you, not just here, but everywhere I go. Because this stillness is not just a feeling, it is a place, a shelter. And I know now that I belong here. Father, what you are doing in the stillness is beginning to clear something inside me. I feel it in the way my thoughts have softened and my breath has slowed. The tension that used to cling to my decisions is no longer leading the way. In this quiet space, I begin to see that peace is not just a feeling, but a direction. And now, as I remain in this holy stillness, I feel you gently turning my focus toward what comes next. Not the rush of the day, not the long list of tasks waiting for my attention, but something deeper. A quiet invitation to look at the way I live, to bring my rhythms, my choices, my priorities into alignment with the truth I have just tasted. Because if your presence is my shelter, then it must also become my compass. If I am safe in you, then I want to be led by you. God, I do not want to step out of this moment and return to the same patterns that wore me down. I do not want to leave this place of clarity only to pick up confusion, disguised as responsibility. I want what you are doing here to change how I move, how I think, how I choose. I want my inner life to lead my outer one, not the other way around. There are places in my life where I have been led more by fear than by faith. There are patterns I have justified because they kept me busy, even if they kept me distant from peace. I have said yes to things that drained me, out of guilt or fear of disappointing others. I have pushed past the signs of exhaustion because I thought productivity was the same as purpose. I have followed urgency like it was wisdom. But here, in your nearness, I know better. So I ask you now to realign me not with pressure or demand, but with gentleness. Show me what I have picked up that does not belong in my hands. Reveal the places where I have made decisions out of insecurity rather than trust. Help me see where I have been trying to outrun disappointment instead of facing it with you. Teach me how to move differently, think more clearly, and choose more intentionally. Father, if there are doors I have been forcing open that you have not called me to walk through, help me step back. If there are paths I have avoided because I feared failure, give me courage to try again. If there are relationships where I have settled for dysfunction out of fear of being alone, show me a new way. Realign me from the inside out, not to be impressive, but to be whole. I want the way I live to reflect the peace I have found in you, not just in prayer, but in practice. Let my calendar begin to look more like obedience than obligation. Let my conversations carry grace rather than guardedness. Let my thoughts slow down long enough to hear wisdom before worry has a chance to speak. Let me plan not from fear of falling behind, but from a place of quiet trust in your timing. I ask you to place your hand on the things I carry and show me what still aligns with your heart. If I am pouring energy into things that look good, but lead me away from truth, give me eyes to see clearly. If I am chasing outcomes that feed my pride, but starve my soul, stop me before I go too far. I do not want to build a life that succeeds on the outside, but breaks me on the inside. I want a life that breathes in step with you. God, where comparison has shaped my decisions, realign me with identity. Where ambition has overtaken rest, realign me with purpose. Where fear of missing out has distorted my direction, realign me with trust. I do not want to measure my life by the pace of the world. I want to be paced by peace. Let my steps be steady. Let my choices be rooted. Let my heart be led by conviction, not by chaos. There are things I have wanted that I now release, not because they are bad, but because they no longer belong. There are dreams I have chased that I now place in your hands, trusting you to refine them or return them as you see fit. I do not want a life filled with noise, but void of meaning. I want every part of me to be aligned with what you are building slowly, purposefully, faithfully. If clarity is a gift you give in stillness, then let me return to this place again and again, not just for answers, but for alignment, not just to feel better, but to live better. Let my yes carry more weight, because it flows from discernment. Let my no carry peace, because it honors my limits. Let my silence become sacred when words are not needed. Let my actions be extensions of what I have heard from you here. Father, I bring to you my routines, my habits, my assumptions. I bring the way I start my days and the way I end them. I bring my budget, my work schedule, my conversations, and my decisions. I want them to reflect not just what is efficient, but what is aligned, because alignment with you brings freedom. It quiets the anxiety that comes from living out of sync. It lifts the burden of having to make everything happen on my own. It makes space for joy to grow where pressure used to live. Let this be the way forward, not just visiting peace, but living from it. Not just encountering wisdom, but walking in it. Not just adjusting things temporarily, but allowing you to shift what needs to change. No matter how small or deep, I trust you to lead me not with force, but with clarity. Not with fear, but with direction. Not with pressure, but with presence. So as the light of morning grows brighter outside, I ask for an inner light to rise too. Let it illuminate the places that need rearranging. Let it bring focus to what matters most. Let it expose what no longer belongs. And let it do all of this not with harshness, but with the same gentleness I have felt here with you. I am not afraid to let go if you are guiding what comes next. I am not afraid to slow down if you are the one setting the pace. This is the alignment I long for, not just of tasks, but of soul. Not just of plans, but of presence. Not just of time, but of trust. Let it begin here and stretch into everything I touch. Let it shape how I lead, how I serve, how I rest, and how I respond. Let it become the unseen strength beneath every step I take. Lord, if alignment with you is the beginning of peace, then trust is the bridge I must walk to keep moving forward. It is one thing to say, I believe you are good. It is another to follow you when the path ahead is dim, and my heart is trembling. And yet, even in this moment, something within me is choosing to step deeper, not into certainty, but into surrender. I feel you asking me to let go of needing to know what comes next, and instead place my hand in yours. You know, Lord, how tightly I have held on to outcomes. You know the plans I have built in my mind, the dreams I have tried to map out in perfect detail. You know the fear that rises when things do not go according to the script I wrote. And you know how much I have struggled to release control. But today, in the quiet of this morning, I do not want to resist the unknown anymore. I want to welcome it not because it is easy, but because you are in it. I look back at the moments when life did not go the way I hoped, and I see now how you were still working. I see how you were protecting me from what I could not see, redirecting me from places that looked good, but were not meant for me. I see how closed doors were not rejections, but redirections. And in that light, I realize the unknown is not my enemy. It is the space where your miracles unfold. God, I confess that uncertainty still scares me. I like to plan, to prepare, to feel in control. But I also confess that control has never given me the peace it promised. It has only kept me restless, always trying to predict and prevent instead of trust and respond. So I surrender my desire to figure everything out before I move. I surrender the timelines I have set, the expectations I have carried, the pressure to make everything happen on my own. I place them at your feet. Teach me how to walk in the unknown without fear. Teach me how to trust that, even when I cannot see the way, you are already there. Let me find safety not in answers, but in your presence. Let me wake up, not needing everything to be resolved, but simply knowing you are with me. Because if you are for me, then nothing can truly stand against me. Not confusion, not delay, not even failure. Father, there are decisions ahead that I do not yet know how to make. There are outcomes I still pray for, but cannot guarantee. There are dreams that remain unfulfilled, and prayers that feel unanswered. And yet, I choose trust. Not because I feel brave, but because I know you are faithful. You are not bound by time. You are not limited by what limits me. You are not surprised by the twists and turns that shake my confidence. You are already preparing what I need before I even know I need it. I ask for the kind of faith that does not depend on results to believe you are good. I ask for trust that stands firm even when the winds rise. I ask for a heart that does not retreat into fear, but expands in surrender. I want to walk with open hands, not clenched fists. I want to wake each day with expectancy, not anxiety. Dude, I want to trust that, even when my plans unravel, yours never do. Lord, help me release the grip I have on, needing to understand everything. Let me learn to live from the truth that understanding can wait, but obedience cannot. Let me move forward, even when the path looks unfinished. Let me take the next step, even when I cannot see beyond it. Let my trust become a daily posture, not a last resort. Let it become the ground I walk on, the air I breathe, the lens through which I see my life. I surrender the need for clarity if it means clinging more tightly to you. I release the desire to be certain if it means I will learn how to be still. And I let go of the illusion that I must always be strong so I can learn how to be held. Let my faith not be measured by how fearless I feel, but by how much I return to you when fear tries to lead. Let it be shaped by how often I choose to believe, even when it is hard. God, I bring to you the unknowns I carry today, the relationships that feel fragile, the doors that seem stuck, the waiting that feels long. I bring the what-ifs, the maybes, the not-yets, And I give them to you, not as problems to be solved, but as spaces for you to move. I trust that nothing is hidden from your sight, nothing too messy for your grace, nothing too uncertain for your wisdom. You see it all, and you are not afraid. Let this be the way I live, not by what I see, but by who I know you to be. Let my soul be steadied by your track record, not shaken by my temporary circumstances. Let my mind be anchored by the promises you have already fulfilled, and let my heart rest in the knowledge that even when the road is unclear, your presence is unwavering. I do not need a map, I need your voice. I do not need a guarantee, I need your nearness. I do not need the whole picture, I need the faith to believe that each step will matter. And so I trust you now, not in theory, but in practice. Not just with words, but with how I carry myself today. Let my trust show up in how I speak, how I work, how I wait, and how I respond to what I cannot control. Lord, the unknown still stretches out before me, wide and unanswered, but it no longer looks like something I need to fear. It looks like an invitation, one you extend with open hands, waiting for me to walk with you, not ahead of you. And I will, not because I feel strong, but because I know you are. Not because I have figured it out, but because I believe you are already in every detail I have yet to see. So I step into this day not with a blueprint, but with a whisper of trust. I step into this season not with certainty, but with surrender. And I step into the unknown not with fear, but with faith. You are with me, and that is enough. Let that be the foundation beneath every step I take from here. Father, if trust is the step I am learning to take, then remembrance is the ground beneath my feet. I come to you this morning with a heart that is finally beginning to breathe again, not because all my questions have been answered, but because I am learning to look back before I look ahead. In the quiet stillness, before the day rushes in, I choose to remember. I remember not what I have lost, but what you have done. Not what I fear, but what you have already carried me through. There is something sacred about pausing, about gathering the pieces of my past and seeing them in the light of your faithfulness. Because when I look back with honesty, I see a story that is not only full of pain, but also full of mercy. I see days when I thought I had reached the end, and yet here I am. I see nights when I cried without words, and yet somehow morning still came. I see wounds that once bled with hopelessness, now closed with quiet healing, and I know, without a doubt, that it was you who carried me. Lord, help me not forget what I once prayed for, that I now live in. Help me not overlook the breakthroughs, because they came slowly, or quietly, or in ways I did not expect. Teach me to be the kind of person who sees you even in the small things, the open parking space, the encouraging text, the strength to keep going one more hour. Let gratitude awaken where weariness once lived. Let memory become a song of thanksgiving, not a record of regret. God, sometimes my mind returns to past mistakes, and the shame still lingers like a shadow I cannot shake. But even there, I want to remember rightly. I want to remember not just what I did, but what you forgave. Not just where I failed, but where you redeemed. You did not leave me in my lowest place. You met me there, and if you met me in my mess before, I know you will meet me again. If grace found me once, it can find me every morning. I think of the times when I felt forgotten, when prayers felt unanswered, and hope felt thin. I remember how I wanted you to show up in fire and thunder, but instead you came quietly in a conversation I did not expect, in a moment of peace that made no sense, in a deep knowing that I was not alone. And that was enough. Let me remember those moments now, not as distant memories, but as living proof that you are near to the brokenhearted. Father, I do not want to be like those who receive your goodness and forget. I do not want to be so focused on what I want next that I lose sight of what you have already done. Help me become someone who collects stories of your faithfulness, who treasures them, who tells them again and again until faith rises within me. Let me carry them like stones of remembrance, evidence that even when I doubted, you were working. Even when I wandered, you were faithful. Today, I recall the doors you opened that I never expected, the ones that swung wide without effort, that led me into spaces of growth and restoration. I also remember the doors you shut, some with pain, some with confusion, but each one with protection. I did not always understand at the time, but now, looking back, I can see that even your no was a kindness. Even the waiting was not wasted. Lord, let my soul become a witness to what you have done. Let it not be silent. Let it testify over fear, over lies, over doubt. Let it sing even in the wilderness, because it remembers water from the rock, manna in the morning, strength when there should have been none. Let me not define you by my current circumstances, but by the entirety of our journey, because you have never failed me, not once. Even in the battles that left scars, you were there. You did not always take the pain away, but you always gave me purpose within it. You taught me how to hold both sorrow and peace, how to breathe through disappointment, how to hope again when everything inside me said, not to. That kind of faith was not built overnight. It was built in the remembering. So I remember now, not for nostalgia, but for strength, not to live in the past, but to face the future. God, when the road ahead looks unfamiliar, remind me of the way you led me through the wilderness before. When fear tries to speak louder than truth, remind me of the promises you fulfilled. When I almost gave up, when I feel small, remind me of the mountains you moved. Let my memory become a well I draw from, not of pain, but of your provision. Let it steady me. Let it humble me. Let it quiet my complaints and deepen my praise. I remember the faces of those who stood beside me, who spoke truth when I could not hear it myself. I remember the silence you used to teach me patience, and the storms you calmed not with words, but with your presence. I remember the miracles I almost missed, because they did not look like what I prayed for, and I remember the peace that came not when the situation changed, but when I surrendered. Lord, remind me again that you are the same yesterday, today, and forever. The same God who healed me once can heal me again. The same God who made a way before will do it again. The same God who carried me through that season I thought would break me is the one who holds me now. Let this remembering turn my fear into faith, my doubt into praise, my hesitation into hope. This morning, I choose not just to believe you intellectually, but to remember you intimately, to recall your kindness, your mercy, your interventions. I choose to rehearse the truth until it drowns out the lies. I choose to let gratitude rise, even if tears come with it, because you have been too good for me to forget, too faithful for me to pretend I got here on my own, too present for me to question if you will come through again. And so, as the light breaks through this new day, I break open my heart with thanksgiving, not because everything is easy, but because I remember how far you have brought me. I do not have to start from nothing. I start from testimony. I start from history. I start from the unshakable truth that you have done it before. And that changes everything about how I move forward. God, in the stillness that follows remembrance, something sacred begins to stir a quiet awareness of who I truly am in you. I have looked back and seen your fingerprints all over my journey. And now, in this sacred pause, I feel you inviting me, not just to remember what you have done, but to rediscover who I am because of it. Not who life tried to make me, not who pain shaped me into, but who you called me to be before I ever drew breath. There is a gentle clarity rising, like the first light of dawn chasing away the night. It whispers truth that has waited patiently beneath the noise and striving. You did not create me to barely survive. You formed me with purpose in mind, breathed destiny into my bones, and named me with love before anyone else knew my name. I am not an accident. I am not forgotten. I am not too broken. I am yours, Lord. For too long I let labels define me, words spoken in pain, lies wrapped in experience, scars that tried to speak louder than your promises. But I lay them down now, one by one. I release every identity that fear forced on me, every belief that said I am not enough, every memory that whispered I would always be stuck. I give them to you, because none of them are stronger than the truth of who you say I am. You call me chosen. You call me beloved. You call me redeemed. You see me through eyes of grace, not disappointment. You call forth what you planted in me long before the world ever had an opinion. I am not the sum of my failures. I am not bound to my past. I am a new creation, marked by mercy, shaped by truth, and held by hands that never let go. Father, show me how to walk in that identity, not just as a belief in my mind, but as a posture of my soul. Let me carry myself with the quiet confidence that comes from being known and loved by you, not arrogance, but assurance, not striving, but surrender, not perfection, but presence. Let that truth settle deep in my spirit so I can stop searching for worth in all the wrong places. God, remind me that purpose is not something I have to chase. It is something I carry. It is woven into my being, not earned through performance. I do not have to wait until I feel ready. I do not have to reach some impossible standard. You use the broken. You send the ordinary. You delight in using what the world overlooks. So here I am, offering you what I have, asking you to shape it for something greater than I can see. Some days I feel too weak to do anything significant, but you remind me that power is perfected in weakness, that the smallest act done in love echoes louder than 1,000 empty words. That faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. So give me the courage to be faithful with what is in my hands. Help me love the people in front of me. Help me speak truth when it is easier to stay silent. Help me choose kindness even when I am tired. Lord, awaken the gifts you have placed inside me, not for my glory, but for yours. Stir the passions that have gone dormant. Rekindle the dreams I buried under fear. Call forth the voice that shame tried to silence. You created me with a reason. You placed me in this moment, in this family, in this generation on purpose. And nothing, not my failures, not others' opinions, not even my doubts can cancel the assignment you have given me. I do not ask for clarity before I take the next step. I ask for obedience. I ask for peace in the unknown and boldness in the face of resistance. I ask for the kind of trust that walks forward even when the path is not clear, because I know that as I move with you, purpose unfolds. Destiny awakens. And identity deepens. One step, one yes, one moment of surrender at a time. God, help me to see myself the way you do, not through the mirror of insecurity or comparison, but through the lens of redemption. Let me hear your voice louder than every inner critic. Let me believe your promises more than I believe my past. Let me wake up each morning with the quiet conviction that I am who you say I am. And that is enough. When I feel overlooked, remind me that you see. When I feel small, remind me that you delight in using the least to reveal the most. When I wonder if I matter, remind me that I carry your spirit, that my life is a vessel of your light, and that no moment lived with you is wasted. Let identity birth purpose, not the kind of purpose that demands applause or validation, but the kind that loves deeply, serves quietly, and lives faithfully. The kind that shows up when no one is watching. The kind that speaks truth in love. The kind that plants seeds of hope, even in dry soil. That kind of purpose changes the world, not in flashes of glory, but in steady acts of grace. Father, thank you for making me on purpose and for a purpose. Thank you for not giving up on me when I doubted, wondered, or tried to become someone else. Thank you for calling me back, again and again, to the truth of who I am, not just a child of God, but a reflection of your heart to the world. May that truth change how I speak, how I think, how I love, and how I live. May it infuse the ordinary with eternal significance. May it guide my choices, shape my prayers, and silence every voice that tells me I am less than enough. Because I know now I was made for more than survival. I was made to reflect your glory, to carry your hope, to walk in purpose. And as the day stretches before me, I walk into it not with fear, but with focus, not with confusion, but with conviction, not trying to prove anything, but simply to be who you created me to be, loved, seen, called, sent, not because I am perfect, but because I am yours. And that, Father, changes everything. And, Lord, in this moment, as the stillness of morning begins to hum with life, I come before you one last time, not to close a conversation, but to continue walking in the rhythm we have formed through these quiet prayers. So much has been poured out, uncovered, surrendered, and remembered. Each word has been a step, each silence a breath, each cry a seed planted in the soil of faith. And now, in the soft unfolding of a new day, I let my heart rest in the quiet strength you have built within me. There are no fireworks here, no dramatic finish, just the deep awareness that something within me has shifted. The weight I carried into this journey has grown lighter. The questions that echoed in the dark have softened into whispers of trust. The pain I once tried to escape has become the very place where you met me most tenderly. And now I know breakthrough was never only about circumstances changing. Sometimes the real miracle is how you change me in the middle of it all. Father, you have walked with me through the shadows. You have sat beside me when I could not move. You have spoken when my voice trembled. And through it all, you never turned away. You never asked me to be stronger than I was. You never demanded perfection. You simply invited me to be real, to be present, to be held. And in that space of raw honesty, I found something holy. I found the kind of love that stays. God, as I look ahead, I know the road will not always be smooth. There will still be valleys, still be storms, still be moments when fear tries to call me back into silence. But I will remember this sacred conversation. I will remember the ground we covered, the tears that became prayers, the whispers that became declarations. I will remember that faith is not always loud. It is sometimes the quiet resolve to believe when nothing makes sense, to love when it hurts, to rise when it would be easier to hide. You have taught me that victory is not a shout of triumph, but the steady heartbeat of someone who refuses to give up. You have shown me that breakthrough begins with surrender, not striving. Dude, that healing starts with honesty, not hiding. That purpose is not found in applause, but in obedience. And now I step forward with this truth carved into my spirit like a promise that will not fade. Lord, awaken me each day with a fresh hunger to seek you, not just for answers, but for presence. Teach me to see the sacred in the ordinary, to hear your voice in the laughter of children, the rustle of trees, the quiet kindness of a stranger. Let my life be a reflection of the peace you have placed within me. Not because everything is perfect, but because I walk with the one who is. Remind me to slow down enough to notice your hand in the details, to linger in the moments that matter, to stop measuring myself by what I achieve, and instead rest in who I am becoming in you. Let me walk in grace that is not rushed. Let me move with purpose, but also with peace. Let me speak words that build, touch lives with gentleness, and carry hope like a lamp in the dark. Thank you for meeting me here, for holding space for my fears, my longings, my silent questions. Thank you for not rushing me through the process, for not turning away when I doubted, wept, or resisted. Thank you for being the kind of God who stays through the night, through the ache, through the silence. You have been faithful in every breath. I pray now for every heart that has walked this path with me, every soul that paused long enough to whisper these prayers, to face their own pain, to open their hands and release what they could not carry alone. Let them know they are not alone. Let them feel seen. Let them believe, even in the smallest corner of their soul, that their story is not over. That even now, light is breaking through. For the one who feels forgotten, wrap them in the quiet reminder that you never lose sight of even one sheep. For the one who is waiting, speak peace over the space between now and not yet. For the one who is weary, breathe strength into their spirit, like wind filling the sails of a tired boat. For the one who is starting over, make the path clear, one gentle step at a time. I lift them to you, Father, each precious one. I may not know their names, but you do. I may not see their faces, but you are holding every tear, every dream, every whispered cry in your hands. Let these prayers echo in their hearts like a melody they can return to when they feel lost. Let them carry this sacred moment into their day, like a lantern lit at dawn. And now, as morning stretches wide across the sky, I walk forward not with all the answers, but with a steadiness in my soul. I do not know what today will hold, but I know who holds me. I do not know every step, but I trust the one who lights the path. I may not feel strong, but I know I am not walking alone. And that, Lord, is enough. So I carry this peace with me, like a folded letter tucked close to my heart. I carry this faith like a seed planted deep in the soil of my becoming. I carry this love like a soft flame that no wind can extinguish. And as I go, I carry others with me, those who prayed, those who wept, those who believed even when they were breaking. To you, dear friend who has journeyed through every word, every breath, every quiet space of this prayer, thank you. Thank you for allowing yourself to go deeper, for being brave enough to stay, for letting these moments reshape something inside you. Your presence here matters. Your heart matters. Your voice matters. If these prayers have touched you, I invite you to share what's stirred in your spirit. Leave your reflections, your whispers, your hopes below. Let this space become a tapestry of faith, woven together by those who dared to hope again. And if this journey has blessed you, I encourage you to share this video with someone who needs a reminder that they are not alone. That light still breaks through. That faith still moves mountains. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you can continue walking with us each day. Let this become your daily rhythm, your quiet place of return, a space where your faith is watered, your spirit nourished, and your hope restored. Keep praying, keep trusting, keep rising. And now, as the sun casts its first golden rays across the earth, I step into this new day wrapped in peace. The wind is gentle, the sky is wide, the river flows, and something within me knows it is well.